What is going on, my friends? Ignore the lawnmower outside. I am not waiting any longer to make a video. It is currently June 6th, 2018, 2:18 p.m. Eastern Time. That means we're getting very close to the reveal of The Division 2, and I'm kind of nervous about it, I have to be honest. I think I'm more nervous than excited for this sequel. I'm one of the people who falls into the camp of, can we just keep adding to this? It's working. It's working now. It's working so well, and it didn't in the past. And I like where it is now. Can we just keep building off of that? And it's one of those positions that I think is kind of unique, because The Division, for me, was one of those games where I knew it was massively flawed. It had a lot of problems, but I stuck with it because I loved it. First of all, I'm a native New Yorker. I live in upstate New York. I don't live in the city, but I love New York. And I am also a huge SOCOM fan. For those of you who might not have heard of it, it was a big shooter back in the day on PlayStation 2. Pretty much one of the first online shooters to get competitive. Well, one of the first online shooters on a console. And I was a huge fan of EverQuest Online Adventures, hence my name. So if you were to take those two games and just kind of push them together, you'd get something like The Division. And I recognized that immediately when it was revealed, so I was really hyped for it. And then naturally when it came out, played the beta, I saw it had issues, it wasn't everything I wanted it to be, and then it came out and it seemed like it got worse. So it took them a while to get it to where it is now, right? My concern is that that could happen again with The Division 2. And not just that, they're probably taking us out of New York City, which is a big part of the reason why I love The Division to begin with, and they're probably even going to be switching up the season because, come on, who the hell wants to keep dealing with the winter and the snow? They're going to do something else. And for me, that's a huge part of why I love The Division, is the setting, the atmosphere, the weather environment. All of that stuff really came together just to build this amazing experience that felt like it was almost tailor-fit for me. I know that's kind of a selfish thing to say, and it's obviously not true, but every now and then a game will come along and it just hits all of those notes. I know you know what I'm talking about, and it happens to pretty much everyone. And if it hasn't happened to you, I'm sorry. Hold out. There's probably going to be something that you like. I don't know. But this just nailed everything. It had the SOCOM vibe. It had the EverQuest vibe. And yeah, I'm just repeating myself at this point, but it just came together to form an amazing experience, and it took a while to get there, and I stuck with it, and it was rough. And those of you who were there from the beginning, you know how rough it was. Just getting your gear score to bump up like a single digit, it just took forever, man, because you're grinding. If you weren't playing with friends, and very few of us were because our friends were playing other things, you were stuck with randoms trying to get through incursions that were just, you turtled your ass off. You just stuck underneath one wall. If one person went down, it was over 45 minutes into an incursion. It was a nightmare. I stuck through all of that. There was no end game. But I remember getting to the end feeling like this was fun. I really enjoyed the story. There have been people that didn't like the story in The Division. They didn't like the characters. I couldn't feel any more different about that. I loved the characters. They didn't really elaborate on them enough. That was the problem that I saw. I wanted to hear more about Rhodes. I wanted to hear more about Candle. They didn't go into these people, really. And I expected them to. And I expect that now they're never going to. We're going to be moving most likely to, I'm saying, Washington, D.C. Other people have said the same thing. That yeah, it's probably where we're gonna go. It makes a lot of sense. I don't know. As long as it's fun and it doesn't launch like Destiny 2, I think that Massive finds themselves in quite the position right now. If they're smart, if they don't release this too quickly, if it's fully fleshed out, if there are things to do. I remember thinking to myself when Survival came out and we had Underground, I remember thinking if they had these two things, and that's pretty much all they really needed. Maybe a couple of quality of life changes needed to be put in there, let's be honest. But if they had those things and they launched with that, it would have given people a completely different impression. And first impressions are so important, guys. Now, we live in a time where games, they come out crappy and they build themselves up. Once upon a time, that was just unfathomable. And then Final Fantasy XIV happened and everybody was like, oh, wow, okay, if you can do it with an MMO, I guess we can manage anything. We've got Sea of Thieves that came out recently, a game that I had alpha tested and could not talk about. I hyped it up on the channel and I couldn't say anything about it. That game was a complete disaster. I think they're going to try to build that up, but some of these games they don't recover. Destiny 2, I don't know if that's ever going to recover. It might, but either way you slice it, Massive would have to be fools not to see the golden opportunity that lie before them here, because all they really have to do is check all their boxes and release this game in a good state, which I think that they're capable of doing. I mean, they've demonstrated that they can turn around a mess, which I think is harder than launching the game proper the first time, but I have confidence that they can pull it off. Now, that's not to say that Destiny doesn't have plenty of time to turn things around with their own actual worthwhile DLC and quality of life changes. They do have plenty of time. I don't expect the Division 2 to launch anytime this year. If it does, I'd be very surprised. And I'd be even more concerned than I am right now. It's just one of those things. It's funny to watch these two kind of duke it out and see who's going to come out on top. Now, I already know there's going to be some Warframe comments. I haven't really given that game a fair shake yet, guys. And by that, I mean I haven't even tried it. So I haven't given it a shake at all. But I do plan on playing it. But this is about the two titans, right? The two heavy AAA titles out there that are duking it out, and I want to see who's going to come out on top. I have to be honest, I want the Division to come out on top. Because like I said, I've got that bias. Now, about a year and a half ago, if you had asked me, I'd have said, screw the Division, screw Massive, I can't believe they released this mess. I can't wait for Destiny 2. When that comes out, I'm going to play the crap out of it. And yeah, I just face palm to the 10th, degree. But at any rate, I'm just rambling on at this point. That's mostly what this video has been anyways. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've put one of these together. I'm really excited. I don't want to say hyped. I'm really excited about the Division 2, but like I said, I've got my concerns and I've got my biases that are getting in the way. And I don't know, man. I think they can pull it off, but I don't think they're ever really going to hit those notes for me personally that the Division 1 was able to achieve. And I think that, you know, 2 years down the road, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, I'm going to look back and I'm going to say, yeah, I wish they would have expanded on the original. But I could be wrong. We'll see how it goes. You guys know what time it is. Sound off in the comments. I want to know if you are ready for the Division 2 or if you think they should just stay with the Division 1 like I do and continue expanding upon it. I'll be here covering it, and hopefully, you know, Massive will give me just one area with a little bit of snow, maybe a few tunnels. That was a joke. No, I don't ever want to see any tunnels ever again, Massive, ever. No tunnels, okay? I don't care if you build sky bridges.